Man, Broncos country, I'm excited. I'm excited for this episode because I have a special guest. It's going to be a special episode. One of my really good friends, someone I've been buddies with for a long, long time, is joining the episode, and we're going to talk today about the state of the New York Giants and how they could, maybe make a turnaround with the firing of Brian Daboll, and what I perceive to be a franchise quarterback in Jaxson Dart. What can they do, or what needs to be done in order for them to be the next Denver Broncos or New England Patriots in terms of that 1 year turnaround? So, without further ado, man, I want to introduce my good friend Sharp. He's a guy. He's a New York Giants fan living in Dallas, right?
Yep. Enemy
Originally from New
territory.
York, enemy territory, doing it the hardcore way. So, Sharp, obviously, we know that the big news was the firing of Brian Daboll. I wouldn't say it was really surprising, but
No,
what are your initial thoughts
probably
on that?
overdue.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts, I would say definitely overdue. Um, I think Bowen, the defensive coordinator, should have gone as well. I think the GM, Joe Shane, should have gone as well. My overall kind of theory on the whole thing is that Daboll's got a good eye for talent. If this was, in college terms, I would say he's a great recruiter, but not a great coach. Even if you go back and you look at some of the good picks that Joe Shane made, a lot of them were basically because Brian Daboll forced him to. Couple examples. He wanted to go with Dunze over Neighbors. Now, Dunze is a fine wide receiver, but I feel like a lot of people look at Malik Neighbors, when he's healthy, on the same tier as maybe Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, like those kind of guys. At least that's the way I do. Obviously, I have some bias, but I've
Hmm.
also seen what like the national media said about him, and they kind of put him in that first tier. I don't
Yeah.
think Adunze's there. Maybe he could be one day, but I don't think he compares in talent to Malik. That's just one of them. The other one, the most hilarious example, we all know Jalen Hyatt and how much of a bust he's been.
Yeah.
You can't really call a third round pick too much of a bust. He was a third round pick for a reason, but Shane wanted him in the second round. And Daboll was pretty adamant that we needed a center, and we went John Michael Schmitz instead, and then ended up getting Hyatt in the third round. So nobody wanted him that high. Joe Shane was about to reach for him, and he's been non-existent, not never on the field, never getting any targets. Um, and then the third one, obviously, was the most recent one with Dart. Brian, if it was up to Daboll, he would have went Dart over Abdul Carter at third overall. Now, obviously, with the way it worked out, I'm very happy. We got Abdul Carter. He should be a stalwart in our defense for a few years to come here. And then if it wasn't for Daboll, he wouldn't have traded back in to the first round to get Dart. I'm sure you've seen that video that's been circulating over the last few days where Shane's in the draft room and he's like, if you guys are convicted on this, like this is on you. Like we'll go ahead and we'll take him. No one's going to remember a third round pick in a few years if we make this trade. So he's basically putting the onus on them. Like, this is your guys' call, not mine. And it ended up being probably the best draft pick by the Giants in the last 5-10 years.
Well, and it's funny too because I remember I watched that video because I guess Joe Shane he had some sort of agreement in place with Denver originally. We were going to
Oh,
trade back.
really? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because you guys were in
And
that early 20s, right?
yeah, we were at 20. And I think because Jade Barron fell, he called him. And you can see he's kind of like, oh, man, they said they were going to have a deal. We had a deal in place for, X amount of time. And then he kind of freaked out, but they were able to get him at 25, which look, I think he looks good, man. And you make a good point. I mean, the reason I think, and I'm probably in agreement with you on this, I don't know if this is exactly how you feel, but I think the Giants are primed for a super quick turnaround if they make the right hire because they've built out the foundation of this team really well. Like
Yeah.
the offensive line is massively improved. The defensive line is sick.
Yep.
Your defense got a lot of playmakers. You've got really good playmakers on offense. I mean, can't forget
One
about Theo
healthy.
Johnson, who's a stud, right?
Yeah, he's
Malik
been really
Neighbors if he
good this
comes
year.
back. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wandale Robinson, I think, super underrated. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
I think you've got a lot of really good. So, in terms of this head coaching search, I think it's a matter of time before Joe Shane's gone too. They probably just he's a
Yeah,
lame
they're
duck GM. They're
saying
gonna ride it out.
they're saying that he's going to lead the search for a new head coach, which I'm not really excited about. And if he's going to lead the search for the new head coach, I assume he's going to be there for the draft too. Which, with where we are, Dart on a rookie contract, we've got some playmakers, we've got good personnel on defense. This is probably the most important draft in maybe Giants history. That might be exaggeration a little bit, but considering we've never had a 10-year period where we've just been in the dumps for this long, like this is a really big chance for us to make that quick turnaround next year. And I don't know if I want him anywhere near this draft, but it sounds
Yeah.
like he's gonna be.
Was he hired with Daboll? Were they together?
Yeah, they were. They
So they're
both
kind
came from
of
Buffalo. Yeah,
oh they came from Buffalo together. Yeah, because I always think like sometimes if GM never really got his guy, he was just like he kind of like took over. Then it's different. But yeah,
yeah.
I have a hard time. I have a hard time believing that he's ultimately going to be the guy that moves forward. But I mean, who knows? I guess we'll see. So speaking of the new head coach, I mean, I heard some talk today about Bill Belichick wanting to maybe go to the Giants.
I'm sure
Um,
he wants to go. I
yeah,
mean, I think it's a super desirable job.
and
There's not many.
he loves that franchise, right?
Yeah, and there's not many jobs like this that come available. I mean, the Patriots job, I'm sure, was super desirable when you have a rookie QB who shows some promise. A lot of people are going to want that job, and I think the Patriots made an unbelievable hire with Vrabel. At this point, I wish we would have fired Daboll in the offseason and had a chance to get Vrabel. I'm sure it would have been tough to take him over the Patriots. That's going back home for him.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we missed out on a really great guy, and I can't believe the Titans let him go. Just
Yeah,
absolute dysfunction over there. That's nuts.
crazy. And
For
I
one
can't
bad
believe.
season, he overachieved for what 3 or 4 years before
Oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah. He made Ryan Tannehill look like a freaking Pro Bowler for God
Yeah,
knows how many years. I mean, they were the number one seed. Yeah,
yeah,
he's always been a coach that I've respected. So I mean, who do you got? I'm sure you got a list of some guys that you're really interested in.
yeah.
Who are some of the guys you like, and why do you think they'll be a good fit?
I don't just going back to Belichick. I don't want to diminish what he's done. Obviously, he's a great coach. He's a genius when it comes to football. But I think with the crop of players that we have, I don't think he's the right personality for that locker room. I think they need somebody with a little more swag. I'm not saying that we're gonna get somebody in that realm. It seems like the favorite right now is Mike McCarthy. He's in my top five, but he's definitely the boring choice. I think
Really?
he's the boring but solid choice. Obviously, he's great in the regular season. I'm not going to really ding him too much for what happened with the Cowboys. It's just kind of what the Cowboys do. Those early playoff exits, it doesn't really matter who the coach is. It just kind of happens with them. So, obviously he was at the helm. He had some really bad play calls. Like he wasn't good managing the clock late in those games. So sure, some of the responsibility falls on him. But similar to the Jets, which I'm going to touch on here in a bit, I don't hold too much against you when something bad happens when you're on the Cowboys. It's just kind of the way it goes. Like in baseball, I always say the Mets are going to Mets, the Cowboys are going to Cowboy, and the Jets are going to Jet
Yep.
always. So obviously he's got the
Chargers are going to
ring.
charge.
Chargers are going to charge. So he's got the ring with the Packers. Some say maybe he could have got one or two more. He had Aaron Rodgers in his prime, but that's a guy who's got the pedigree. I think he can come in, command respect, and he can probably bring along some really good coordinators with him because he's got that trust. He's got the background in the league, and I think some really good coordinators would be happy to go work with him and go work with the personnel that the Giants have. That's my boring but solid choice.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Mike McCarthy. I it definitely makes sense in my
Yeah,
opinion.
and it's,
Go ahead.
according to Vegas, he's the favorite right now. So we'll
Oh,
see.
really? Okay. All
Yeah.
right. That makes sense.
Um, and he's like the perfect John Mara guy. Like I feel like at this point with the recent coaches we've had, Ben McAdoo, Joe Judge, Brian Daboll, like they've tried those hot up and coming coordinators and it just hasn't worked. And I think that Mara might just be looking for some stability right now. So McCarthy makes a lot of sense when you consider who owns the Giants and just kind of what we're looking for. My other guys, though, the really fun one would be Lane Kiffin. I know it didn't really go too well for him last time,
Yeah,
but
that was a long
obviously
time ago.
obviously him and Dart love each other. They had really good rapport. Lane kind of runs that NFL style offense at Ole Miss, so maybe the transition wouldn't be that difficult, and it's not going to be a totally different offense for Dart. They can kind of come in. It won't be a brand new system that he has to adjust to. It'll just be, hey, I was in this system. I really thrived in it. So let's just keep doing what we did back then. Um, I love Robert Sala, obviously, with the
Yeah.
Lebanese flag there behind you. That's our
Hmm.
guy.
Mhm.
And same with the Cowboys. I'm not going to hold anything against Robert that happened with him on the Jets. That is just extreme dysfunction. And I know I'm talking as a Giants fan. We've been the second worst team over the last 10 years. The Jets are the only one worse, and they're only one game worse than us. But I like to think that we're a little bit better run than the Jets. And I
Oh yeah.
think
Oh,
if
100%.
Saleh came over, ideally I would love for him to come over and be the DC. I wouldn't want him to be the head coach necessarily, but I think in order to get him from the 49ers, you're going to have to hire him as head coach. He's not going to come over here probably as a lateral move unless they pay
Yeah.
him, X amount more. But still, San Francisco kind of been his team. As he came up, obviously he went back there. He's comfortable there. So I don't know if he would come over to just be the DC, but I think he deserves another shot at head coach.
I agree. I think Robert Saleh is an awesome coach. There's one contingency with him. He's got to
What's
do
that?
whatever the hell possible to never ever bring Nathaniel Hackett anywhere near his staff again.
Yeah, he needs a
That
really
can
good
that
offensive
cannot happen,
coordinator.
dude. Like
Yeah.
that, there's some talks about like someone that would make sense is like Brian Greasy, right? Obviously with the Bronco ties, but I think is he still the quarterback coach there? Or did he leave? I know there was something with him.
On our
I think
team or
it's
your team?
no, on the Niners. He
Oh,
was
I
a
don't know.
Broncos quarterback, but I think he was the quarterback's coach. Anyways, he comes from that Shanahan system.
Yeah,
But yeah, we can't do anything with with Nathaniel Hackett for sure. You got
yeah.
any other names, man? I
I
think
do,
those are
yeah. I
three
have
good ones,
two
man.
others that are kind of realistic, and then I have some wild cards to kind of throw out there and see what you think.
Let's do it.
Um, Cliff Kingsbury.
That's the guy I was thinking of, man. I had it written down. I was gonna bring him up. Yep.
I think the more years that have gone by, it seems like Kyler was the problem over there and not necessarily Kingsbury. I think Kyler was kind of holding him and that offense back. Um, so give him another shot with another hot young QB. He's obviously a really good offensive mind. I would not mind that hire at all.
Yeah.
And then my other one, I think he would take this job in a heartbeat. I don't know if the Giants necessarily would hire him. John freaking Gruden. Bring
Wow.
bring Gruden back.
Wow.
Have you been watching the Internet Invitational?
I've watched a lot of his videos, but I don't think I watched specifically the Internet Invitational. No.
So it's on YouTube right now. There's the sixth and final episode's coming out tomorrow, but it's basically a golf outing. It's a
Oh
bunch
yes,
of
yes, yes.
it's all
Is
the
that the
internet personalities like
yeah?
Barstool, Bob Does Burger, Bob Does Sports, and then just a bunch of other golf influencers. It's been super entertaining. Gruden was one of the 48 that played. But in episode 2, he gives like a pump up speech to their team because they're down miserably and they just need to rally together and have like the greatest day of all time. He gave a great speech. I think he might get a job back in the NFL because of that speech.
Yeah,
So I'm in on Gruden. He obviously loves the game so much. He's dying for a chance to get back in. So give him Dart, see what he can do. I'm
dude,
not going to be opposed to that hire.
that would be. I got chills thinking about that. Would be I think a 10 out of 10 hire. And
Yeah.
what's great about Gruden too is regardless of who the GM is, like he's going to be the one running the ship. So if they want to
Yep.
keep Joe Shane, it's like all right, it'll kind of be like George Payton here in a sense of like he just kind of takes a back seat a little bit
Yeah.
and can focus on one thing. John Gruden would be awesome.
Awesome.
And
He'd be a
yeah,
lot of
him and
fun.
Jaxson Dart would be a
Agreed.
fun tandem.
My wild cards. What do you think about this? I don't know if he wants to necessarily. Well, there's two guys. I don't know if they want to necessarily leave, but trading for Kyle Shanahan or John Harbaugh, a la the Broncos.
Yeah.
You're a team that's traded for a coach. What do you think about those two names?
Well, I'll say, oh man, I mean, what are you trading, right? Because we traded a second round pick. No,
Yeah.
we traded a first round pick.
Did you?
Trying to remember.
No, that was for Russell, I think.
No, I think we also gave up another first that we traded for Bradley Chubb.
It's insane how much you
No,
guys
I think it was
mortgaged
just,
your
yeah,
future for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton,
I know,
and you're
I
still
know,
paying Russell Wilson, and you guys are this good still.
I know. This is the last year of the dead cap. I'm trying to remember, man. Why do I feel like it was a first round pick? Either way, it was a lot, but it was obviously, in my opinion, very worth it.
Yeah.
So if you're let's say we're saying second round pick for Kyle Shanahan or John Harbaugh, I mean, dude, it would be so worth it because you're getting guys, you know what you're gonna get with them.
Yeah.
Like Kyle Shanahan would be
Shanahan with
awesome.
Dart, I think, would be
He would love
nuts.
Dart. Yeah. He would love Dart. I love that system. I mean, I grew up in the Mike Shanahan system, dude. It is
Yeah.
the most quarterback friendly. Guaranteed you're always going to run the ball well. Like you know what you're going to be getting on offense. And how does Kyle Shanahan fit in the New York media type of thing? I mean, that might be the only question, but I think he'd do great there.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh would be, I think he'd be really good too. I just feel like I just get the idea with John Harbaugh that he's a little washed up now.
You
Not
think so?
necessarily washed. Like I think he's a good coach. I just don't know where that fire is anymore. So
He's a little tired at this point.
he's a little bit tired. Yeah, he's a little Pirelli. He's a little bit Pirelli.
And then
So
the
yeah,
only other name I had, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead. I don't have anything else said.
I've been hearing some rumors about the Packers wanting to part way with LaFleur.
That
You
would,
think?
yeah.
Do you think Jordan Love ruined LaFleur over there?
Oh man, I don't even know, dude. I don't know
He's
what the hell
been
is going on with
bad,
the
dude. Since
Packers.
they paid
Yeah,
him, he's been like super average to
yeah.
bad.
He has been average to bad and taking a step back. I mean, it's weird with Lafleur because he does so many things good, and then he'll have like the biggest boneheaded mistakes too. Like he just does dumb
Yeah,
stuff all the time.
his
But
playoff
I mean,
record's
coming from
not
that,
good.
no, and coming from the Shanahan tree, I mean, I think he'd be good. But definitely wouldn't be one of the top choices in my opinion. Unless he
No.
like if you're flying out just hiring him, he could make sense. I'm trying to think of some other guys. Like one guy that a lot of people talked about is Steve Spagnuolo. Um,
Yeah,
it's just
he
like with him, he hasn't really never really been a good head coach, but he's from New
no.
York.
Some
And
guys are just built to be coordinators.
yeah,
And that's
I
my
feel
main
like
concern with Salah too. Like he could end up being one of those guys, but I also kind of see him as the defensive minded version of Dan Campbell, where he can come in, command the locker room, start from day one building a really strong culture, just like Dan Campbell did. Like they come
mhm,
kind of from that same grain. Obviously,
mhm,
Campbell is the offensive minded genius, and then you've got Robert, who's really, really good with the defense. So I think similar traits, similar kind of personalities, and he can go in there and really kind of turn things around. But
yeah,
I also think he's kind of risky because some guys are not built to be the CEO of an organization. They're built to just focus on their thing and just run that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Do you think there's anything Mike Kafka can do to
To get the
earn
job,
to get the job?
I mean, if they go out, I know Dart's not playing this week. Um,
Going with Winston though, man. That's already he's
yeah,
kind of already putting his nuts on the table. Like screw
dude.
you, Russ. We're gonna go with Jameis, which makes so much sense to be honest.
Yeah, if you watch Giants games, it seems like the team doesn't even try when Russell's on the field. Like the offensive line just kind of opens up gaps and just lets people come in to sack him. I don't know what it is.
I know what it is.
Maybe it's corny Russ, like and
Yeah,
nobody buys into it. But it just seems like everybody gets deflated when it's not just the fans, like the players on the field are like, ah fuck, like Russell's
yeah,
coming in. So at least Jameis, like he's been bringing that energy. Jackson loves him, all the young players love him. So I think he does deserve to start a few games. If Dart is hurt. I don't want
yeah,
Dart to be hurt. I honestly wouldn't mind if they just sat Dart for the rest of the year
yeah. I
just
agree.
to avoid getting hurt. But the fact that they came out with with their statement along with announcing Mike Kafka, they said he's going to get an audition to be the head coach next year. So I
Yeah,
don't think they view him as just an interim and then we're going to toss him aside because he was a finalist for some head coaching jobs, if I'm not mistaken, over the last couple of years. So
yeah,
clearly he's in a little bit of demand. He didn't end up getting any of those jobs. Who knows why? But he's been in demand enough to get as far as being a finalist. So I think they're going to give him a fair shot if Dart can come back after this 1 week absence and they end up ripping off, 5 wins in 8 games. Like you're going to have to give him strong consideration. Um,
yeah,
I don't think he's going to do anything with Shane Bowen still there. Ultimately, I think that's the reason Daboll got fired. If you go back during the offseason and you listen to some of the statements by Shane and John Mara, neither one of them had faith in Shane Bowen.
hmm
And it was totally up to Daboll to bring him back. And I think he put his job on the line for Bowen. And Bowen last year was a horrible DC. And this year, with even more stud players on that side of the ball, it's been almost worse. There's
yeah,
one stat I saw the other day. That game against the Cowboys, we had a 93.5% chance of winning, lost it. The game against the Broncos, we had a 99.3% chance of winning, lost it. The game this past Sunday against the Bears was like a 96.7% chance of winning.
Lost it.
Lost it. The odds of losing all three of those games is 1 in 60,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So like we
No,
could
it's
easily
been
be
insane.
5-5,
Yeah.
and there's no reason why we couldn't have even been 6-4 because there's another double-digit loss that we had. And then even in the Chiefs game, like the final score didn't show it, but it was a 6-point game at the end of the fourth quarter.
Hmm.
We turned the ball over and then they went down and scored a touchdown to make it look like a 2-touchdown game. But we could have won that game too. So
Hmm.
it's been super frustrating. It's been such a roller coaster of a season for the Giants because there's been so much excitement, but also like the most devastating losses that
Oh
I've
yeah.
seen in a while. So it's like we kind of want to be happy, but there's also like this extreme annoyance and just depression.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say for what it's worth from like an outsider's perspective, because I know exactly how you feel when it happens to your team. But the way I looked at it is like, yeah, they could easily be 5-5, but like it's such a blessing in disguise that you're not, because it forces you now to move on. Like the worst thing that you want, man, is like let's say they went on a run and they finish with nine wins, maybe 10. Maybe they sneak into the playoffs or they don't make it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh well, we had a good run. We're gonna bring back Daboll, and all you're doing is like delaying everything, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so sometimes the best thing to do is just like rip the band-aid off and just realize that you just need to have a complete overhaul, a complete change.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have these last 7 games to see what Kafka can do, to
Yeah.
see how Jaxson Dart continues to develop. And
The only benefit of doubt that I give Daboll is again going back to the beginning of our convo and how he has an eye for talent, and if he likes a player, he's going to make the GM go and get him. Um, I think Dart genuinely likes Daboll and enjoyed working with him. I think those two had a really good relationship together, and he was pretty good with Jones that first year. Like we went to the playoffs, we won a
mhm,
playoff game, and then the offensive line just crumbled, and Jones got killed. Um, a lot of designed runs that I'm sure Daboll had a hand in. So, he's certainly responsible for a lot of these losses. But again, if he would have just not been stubborn, gotten rid of Shane Bowen, gotten a decent defensive coordinator in here, like we'd easily be a 500 team and we have talent. Like, I'm not saying we were going to go win the Super Bowl, but we would have been like a
for
threatening
sure.
team. Like, people wouldn't have wanted to play us. So, I do feel bad for Daboll in a sense. I don't think because again, the offensive line has been a mess. Daniel Jones was scared coming back from the ACL. He looks way better this year. Obviously, he's way healthier. He looks way better, more confident. Um, but I mean, with different coordinators around him, maybe Daboll could have been better. Again, you couldn't keep him after all these losses.
Yeah,
Again,
no.
even with all the benefit of doubt I'm giving him, you couldn't keep him. It was the right move to get rid of him.
Hmm.
But I do think that potentially there is some talent in there to be a head
Yeah.
coach. Like, he's
And
super impulsive, which hurts him. He pissed off Wink. He ran Wink out of town, who was a phenomenal defensive
mhm.
coordinator. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons there, but again, it was the right move. Although I think if some other things, went his way, he could have maybe been successful here.
I heard I heard that Sean McDermott hated him too, because there was a lot
Really?
of speculation that maybe he'd go back to Buffalo because people are upset with Joe Brady,
Yeah.
and yeah, they said that they didn't have a really good working relationship. Daboll strikes me as someone that's like a really good offensive coordinator, a good offensive mind. But the key to being a good head coach, man, you gotta be able to coach the coaches, and
Hmm.
you can't be buddy buddy with guys. Like if you feel like Shane Bowen sucks, you got to cut ties.
Yeah.
That's such an important thing too. Here's something that I feel like, man, if I was a Giants fan, I would be praying that this happened, and it's such a low chance, but I would
Yeah.
be praying that Kevin O'Connell gets fired from Minnesota.
Oof.
You know,
That
and
would be
there's like
nuts.
there's like
I can't imagine, but that would
I
be
can't
nuts.
imagine it either. Somebody had brought it up, and I'm like, dude, it would have to be a disaster, but because I think Kevin
Unless he's the
O'Connell's
one that was
unbelievable.
banging on the table, take JJ McCarthy, take JJ McCarthy. Maybe he'd get fired for that because, if JJ plays the rest of the season looking like shit, okay,
Yep.
maybe that would get him fired. But if the GM made that sole decision to take JJ McCarthy and then that's what McConnell is working with, I don't think you can fire him for that.
Yeah, or maybe he was banging the table to like bring back Sam Darnold, and they're like, no, we have to move on. Which
Right.
I understand that too. But
That would
yeah,
be
man.
sick
And
though.
then
I would take him in a
another
heartbeat.
another name of someone that I think might become available that I think is a super underrated coach is Kevin Stefanski.
I've been seeing that name too. I don't know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
I don't
You know what's
know.
funny?
Was
It's
he
funny
there?
because I feel like a lot of people feel that way. He's like a very boring, but I
Yeah.
think he's so good.
He certainly could be. Was he there the year that they won 10 games with Baker? That was his like first or second year there? Or was that
I
someone else?
don't. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. That was his first year, and then he also went to the playoffs with freaking Flacco. Let me see. Was that 2021 where they went?
Something like that. How long has he been in Tampa?
He's been
Is
the
this
head
his
coach since
second year?
2020.
Okay, so yeah, he was there for that one
Yeah,
good Baker
yeah.
year.
They went 11-5. They lost to the Kansas City in the divisional game. So yeah, I mean, you talk about like the Jets are going to jet, Chargers are going to charge. I mean, the Browns are like the biggest joke,
The
and
Browns are gonna Brown for sure.
I feel like Kevin Stefanski's kind of been one of the better head coaches in the NFL
Yeah,
for a long time, and he's just been covering up for just complete incompetence.
yeah.
Um, so
I'm
he,
not
I
against it.
mean, yeah, I think he'd be someone that should definitely be
I have been
high
seeing
up
that
on the
name float
list too.
around.
Yep. So we'll see, man. There's a lot, but in terms of the draft coming up, do you feel like the higher the pick that you get, the better, or now that you're confident about having a franchise quarterback, it's kind of like wherever you end up picking, you end up picking.
So at this point that we're 2-8, if we were 4-6, I would say go win some games. Like you can always sneak in. But at 2-8, like you're gonna have to win out. There's no point. So that's why I'm kind of on board with sitting Dart, not risking winning too many games, just keeping him healthy. But if it was up to me, go and win one more game maybe this season. Go upset somebody really good just to kind of show that you guys have it. Um, get like a top 3 or 4 pick and then trade it back for an absolute haul and start building around Dart.
Position wise, like ideally, if you were thinking about like, oh, I'd like to draft a guy at this position, where would you go round one?
So if we trade down, let's say maybe to the early teens, middle of the round, I would say go get the best offensive lineman out there. I think there's that guy out of Utah, the Hawaiian guy. I don't remember his name. Sano, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, if you're picking in the top 5 and you want to stick with that pick, then I think you got to just kind of go with best available. I don't know if we need another wide receiver one. I'd probably wait, till the end of the first or early second to grab another wide receiver.
Yep.
Um, we obviously need some DBs. I don't really know what the DB market looks like in terms of free agency or college right now. But if there's some standout cornerback who's like head and shoulders above the rest of the class, go and get him in the top 5 if you need to, because that's really all we're missing. The linebackers look good. The defensive line, like you mentioned, I mean, 3 absolute studs on there. So yeah, I would probably go DB, wide receiver, or O line.
What do you do with Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. I just had it up. He was one of the pass rushers. What am I thinking? Come on, man.
Dex or Kayvon.
No, no, Kayvon Thibodeau. Is did he sign a long-term deal or he's on a fifth-year option now? Right?
So I think he's got one more year after this. I think this is the offseason where they have to decide if they give him the 5th year option. If I'm not mistaken, I don't
Hmm.
know that 100% sure. But there was a little bit of
Yeah.
chatter of them trading him at the deadline. I wouldn't have liked that. I don't see any reason to. Maybe you're not going to pay him, but let's go see what we can do next year. Because, like we've been mentioning this whole conversation, like there's a turnaround in there, and Kayvon can certainly be a part of it.
Well, that's kind of my point because I feel like if you're not going to pay him, right? Which I don't see why you wouldn't. I was looking at the salary cap. I was going to pull it up, but if you're not going to pay him and you can get a first rounder for someone like Kayvon Thibodeau,
Yeah.
I mean, would you do it
Right now, like going
in this
this
offseason?
offseason,
Yeah.
for a first rounder, probably. Because, I mean, maybe you can find another guy on the defensive line that can be pretty good.
Hmm.
I know Kayvon hasn't really been setting the world on fire, but I think this year he took a really big step. He's been a lot better, kind of having the attention away from him. When he first came to the Giants, besides Dex, he was kind of the only one there. But now that Brian Burns is there, you've got Abdul Carter. there's not as much attention on Kayvon, and he's been putting a lot more pressure on QBs. He's got a couple more sacks than he usually does. Um, so I like Kayvon, but like you said, if you can get a first rounder for him, probably go and do it. I don't know that a lot of teams are offering first rounders though for a 1 year rental defensive
Yeah,
lineman,
it would definitely have to be one of those where like, you agree to some sort of terms,
like a
for a long-term
conditional.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, man, because what I've seen, at least what's helped the Broncos the most in their turnaround by far was year one, Sean Payton comes in, and what do? They had to overspend a little bit in free agency, but they got a right tackle,
yeah,
McGlinchey. They got a left guard, and our entire O line was absolutely taken care of.
yeah,
And we built it from the inside out. So once the O line, the foundation was good, you kept developing and drafting some good D linemen, and then our edge room. It's like every single year we're drafting another edge guy,
yep,
constant. Like I always tell people, our backup edge rushers and Jonah Ellis, Dondrea Tillman are absolutely both starters on a normal
yeah,
team.
yeah,
So it's like the more pass rushes that you can get, man, the better. I think you can figure it out.
yeah,
But that's how I would build it. Like, it's always sexy to go out there and get a stud, wide receiver or tight end or running back. But man, you get the O line set,
that's what you
everything
need.
else, everything else will,
I
will,
mean, look
will
at the Colts. Yeah,
yep, everything else will get taken care of. And I mean, looking at the Giants, looks like now they have like 17 million in cap space, but there's a lot of flexibility that they'll have too. I mean, in terms of
yeah.
getting guys, yeah, like being able to renegotiate guys' contracts or anything. Is there any free agents that you're kind of thinking? I haven't really looked into the free agent class too much besides the Broncos, obviously, but
I haven't. No. I mean, T. Higgins is going to be a free agent, right? He's probably the headliner there in the class. They franchise tagged him, or did they give him a long
no, I
term
think
deal?
they signed him to a long term deal.
Well, they did
They
sign him, so
mm-hmm.
he's off the board. I
Yep.
don't really know who's out there, man. Do you know?
I just know from the Broncos, like Marvin
You know
Mims is
me,
going to
I'm
be
up with
someone.
baseball for the most part. I don't
You
look
are
too
up with
far ahead with
baseball.
football.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't look too far. I love the draft, but I start really digging into the draft and the free agency like right when the season ends. Because
Yeah,
the season ends, I get all depressed. So that's like my way of really getting into it.
yeah.
But like
I think
Trey
Debo's a free
Hendrickson,
agent, right?
Christian Kirk, Debo Samuel is gonna be a free agent, which I don't
You
know
probably
about
have to
all
pay him a
that.
little
But
much.
it seems like there's gonna be a decent
If
amount
there's
of
like a
linemen.
receiver in his late 20s that would take maybe like a 2 year deal for a high, annual average, I'd be down for that. I don't know if I really want to go out and give somebody 4 years, 200 million like these receivers are starting to get.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because again, you're going to have to start paying some of these guys. We talked about Kayvon. He's just the tip of the iceberg. Obviously, in 3 years, you're going to have to pay Dart. So you can't be doing too many long term contracts. You're going to have to pay the other guys on the D line. They're already paying Brian Burns. So there are going to be a few good players that are going to come up for contracts. So yeah, it's tough. If we get that top pick though, I'm all for trading back. And then, whatever other kind of fringe assets that we have, even if we're getting fourth, fifth round picks for them, go ahead and do it. Just start to rebuild, let the new coach kind of get players that he likes that kind of fit his mold,
Yep.
and then just kind of go from there. I really think that we're just a couple pieces away. One O lineman, a wide receiver two, and we had decent DBs like early in the season with Adebo and Holland. They were playing well.
Yeah.
They shut down the Eagles, and then our next game was against you guys. You guys scored 0 points in the first three quarters, and
Mm-hmm.
then at the end of the third quarter, Holland and Adebo both got hurt, and
Yeah.
you went and scored 33 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So that was
That was
tough,
big.
obviously losing those guys at the anchors of the defense. So, you bring those two guys back, you bring on another one, whether it's high end draft or another free agent, we can have a shutdown defense. Like even just an average defensive coordinator can work with these guys. It just can't be the worst DC of all time, like Bone.
Yeah. No, I
And then
mean,
if you bring in an elite
I'm there with
DC,
you.
forget about it. That could be a top defense in the league.
Yeah, and bro, you guys got Okereke, that your linebacker. That dude flies around, and it's
Yep.
so hard, man. We know in Denver, it's so hard to find like good off-ball linebackers like him. He's out there making plays. You guys are definitely stacked at a lot of different positions. I think you got,
Yeah.
and these guys, a lot of these guys are only going to get better.
Yep.
Like the Malik Neighbors injury sucks, but the fact that it was early in the season
Yeah.
was obviously
A
the
blessing
good
for
news
sure.
in there. I don't
Yeah.
know, Deontay Banks. I know he was a
Horrible.
draft pick of. a
He's got
few
to
years
go.
ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shane
he's
traded up to get him. Got to go. He's
yeah. But he's
probably,
only
if you look at,
25 too, though. But is he that bad?
he's so bad.
Doesn't
If you
matter.
if you look at the like pro football rankings, he's probably the worst ranked CB out there. He's so bad.
Yeah, I remember
Cordell
he.
Plott has gotten a little bit better. He really
Mhm.
struggled his rookie year, but he's getting a little bit better. But he's more of like a slot DB. You need somebody who's going to shut down, the number one guy. Deontay Banks is not it.
Yeah, and he's your nickel guy, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Then they have Drew Phillips. I feel like
Drew
he dropped
Phillips
some.
has been good.
Yeah, they
Tyler
got him in
Nubin,
the nickel too.
Tyler Nubin has been pretty solid.
Yeah,
Just not consistent enough. Drew Phillips last year was really good. I feel like maybe he's taken a slight step back this year. Don't quote me on that, but
man, y'all got Darius Alexander too. Is he the same Darius Alexander I'm thinking of from Toledo? Yeah, third round pick. He's gonna be pretty good too, man.
yeah,
I remember looking at him in the draft a lot. I think he'll be a good like eventual starter. I mean, yeah, I agree. You guys got to figure out your kicking situation. What do you guys got? 4 kickers now?
I don't know why they're so obsessed with Graham Gano. Like, what are we doing here? Just
They're
cut him.
39 years old. Well, not just that. Like he's on IR, fine, but they got 3 guys on the practice squad or something. I saw they
Yeah,
signed
it's
another
bad.
kicker. I'm like,
Yeah, I think we signed Koo, and then he got hurt in practice, and then we brought in some Irish guy who
with the
wore
Irish guys,
number
the dude that kept missing extra points.
yeah, who wore 99. When you see a kicker wearing 99, that should be the ultimate red flag right there.
I think it's kind of
Um,
cool though. I'm not gonna lie.
Apparently, I was reading into it. It's part of like the International Pathway Program, where if you sign guys from that program, you get like added benefits.
Well,
I don't know what.
you get an additional roster spot on your practice squad, so you can have
Okay,
17.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
basically every team does it. We had a Lebanese dude from Australia who's a tight end
for
a couple years
real.
ago. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
and
know
then
that.
I mean he was Australian, but he had a Lebanese last name. And
Yeah.
then this year we got some Australian dude looks like freaking Zeus. But yeah, it's a pretty common thing. It's pretty cool because it gives him a chance to stick around.
Sure, if he wants to be like a backup center, bring him on board, no
Yeah,
problem. But to be our
yeah,
kicker,
yeah. No,
no,
no.
no,
Or like just practice kicking. That's it. But like don't do it in a game.
yeah,
Just practice.
no.
No,
Keep
I
him
feel
far
that.
away from the field.
I feel that. Well, I mean, I guess I'll wrap it up by saying this, man. I think without a doubt, regardless of what happens with the rest of the team firings, coach firings, like the Giants are definitely going to be the spot that coaches want to go. No
I
doubt
think
about it.
so
It's a
too.
historic franchise. They got a great ownership group. They've got a super exciting, talented player in Jaxson Dart, which is the most important thing. And then
Yep.
you got talent all over the place. So I think you guys, whoever you all want, I think you'll get them. I don't think that
Yeah.
someone will choose another franchise.
No.
And it wouldn't surprise me if you guys interviewed our defensive coordinator Vance Joseph. I just hope you guys don't hire him because I would like for him to stay here. But um, any
Yeah.
final thoughts, man? Before we wrap it up, what are your overall views of the next year or so with the Giants?
Confident. Well, maybe not confident, but cautiously optimistic. There's definitely a road to be much better next year. I don't think the Eagles can be this good for that much longer. I
Mhm.
think the Cowboys are on the way down. Washington, who knows? I mean, last year they looked unstoppable. They looked like they were going to be the next big thing. And then this year, obviously, Jaden got hurt. But even with Jaden on the field, they just didn't look the same.
Yep.
So I think the division will be more open than people think in the next couple of years. Maybe the Eagles will still have it next year. But I think the more Jaxson Dart plays, the more we build around him. We get a good coach in there. We get some good coordinators. I don't see any reason why we can't be, like we said, Broncos, Patriots, go out and win some games next year, be competitive, be a threat to the league. Obviously, the AFC has a ton of really good teams. I'm not going to say, Super Bowl contenders next year or anything like that,
Mhm.
but go win 9, 10, 11, 12 games. I think it's there. The talent is there,
Yep.
especially if you have a really good offseason. So I'm excited. I mean, it's been a really, really bad 10 years. Um, I think the secret is I just need to move. I don't know if you know this theory, but the two times I've moved in my life, the Giants won the Super Bowl. It was my freshman
Really?
my freshman year at Loyola. They won the Super Bowl, and then 2 weeks after I moved to Texas, they won the Super Bowl.
Damn.
Well,
Maybe
maybe
that
it's
is
just
it, bro.
me being stagnant out here
Yeah.
for 13 years in Texas. I just got to go move to a different state and really test the theory out.
No shit. No, imagine though you like pick up your wife and your kid and you're like, hey man, we're moving just to see if this shit works.
Just to see if it doesn't work, we'll come back. We're not
We'll
going to
come
sell the
back.
house yet,
No, we're
but
gonna
we're
rent
going
it
to
out. We'll
go.
rent it out. We'll
We're
see.
going to go to Arkansas for a year, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, man. I think if you guys get any of the head coaches that you mentioned, except probably Lane Kiffin, I'm not really big on that one.
No, okay.
But I think if you got any of, which obviously my opinion doesn't really matter. I mean, Lane Kiffin could be really good, but I think if you get any one of those coaches, I'll be the first person maybe to say it now. The Giants next year will be the NFC East champions.
I love to hear that.
I really do believe it. Like I believe, like I haven't watched enough of Jaxson Dart. Like, what is he working with? Because we see here with Bo, like it looks so good in year one, and then they say, okay, we need you to develop and read a little bit more. You might take a step back, but he seems like he's got the makeup. He's definitely got the talent. You put him with the right head coach and in a good culture, and you're building around him. It's such a quick turnaround. Just last year in the offseason, ESPN voted us as the 31st best roster of 32 teams.
Wow.
We had an over-under win total of 5.5, and people were saying, "Oh, under this Broncos roster's terrible." Blah 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 blah. But dude, all it takes is a franchise quarterback and some dudes that just believe in it, and you'll flip it around right away. And I think your division is going to be open for the taking after this year. I think this is probably the last year that the Eagles are, the
Primo.
Eagles that we know of them. So I love it. I think it's awesome. But Sharp, this has been awesome, dude. This is so
Thanks
fun.
for having me, bro. I thought the first time I came here would be your first ever baseball episode, but obviously Brian Daboll firing, that calls for an emergency pod for sure.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I'll tell you, man, if you ever want to talk baseball, just give me like 2 weeks to study up on something. I don't want to sound unbelievably stupid, but
I'm your guy for that anytime you want.
No doubt, man. And
all right, bro.
Appreciate it, brother. We'll have you on hopefully again soon.
I'll be. Thank you.
All right, peace, bro.
Later.